Hey everybody, it's Paul with CDA. We're going to go ahead and get started with today's video. So in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to do all that we can to learn about the service history tab. So I'm in the main tab, and if I just scroll all over, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this tab called service history. And so what service history does is it lets us know with this current claim, we had a last name of Wilbert and we default to an address of Clay Street. We found 2 tickets for this customer. Now, in our attribute, it includes, by default, all jobs. So what the system did is as soon as I clicked on this, it said, hey, how many active jobs do we have for Wilbert at this address? And we said 2. Now that means whether they were marked as completed or not. So that is the default criteria when you get into this tab. So I first wanted to start off with that. But what I really want to do is I want to start from the beginning now so that you can learn all that there is to learn about the service history tab. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now what I'm going to do to get us started to learn is I'm going to uncheck address, and I'll explain that why in a moment. Now when you first get into this area, the first thing that's going to happen is it is going to default to the primary filter search. So the primary filter search can either be the last name, if it's selected, or it can be the phone number. Now keep in mind, in our main tab, in the phone number area, we have 3 phone numbers that you can search from. So let's go ahead. I'm going to click on the main tab. So any of these phone numbers can be used in that search. So let's go back. So here we are, we're right back. So again, if any of those 3 numbers were in the main tab, they would go ahead and function as the search. But what we're going to do for right now is we're going to go ahead and say we have Wilbert as the main search criteria. And if I go ahead and just say submit, it will not include any of these sub-searches, which is first name, address, model, serial, product, or the brand. It's going to be an exact match, which we'll explain in a little bit, and it's going to be include all jobs. Now again, all jobs are going to be, they include completed job as they would be completed from the processing department, or they would be, you can say just give me incomplete jobs that mean that the processing department has not marked them as completed and they're active jobs in our system. But for our demo, we're going to say go ahead and give me all jobs. Now notice I have 2 showing up because that was when our original search came in. I'm going to hit submit. And now you'll notice it said we found for the primary as Wilbert, we found all of these claims that you've worked on before. And so that's how the logic works at just the primary. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, give me just the address of Clay, hit submit, and then you can see my search gets reduced by 2. Again, we can go to first name of Doe, and then it is grown. We can then go ahead and say, I have a model number, that's this. The customer can go ahead and say, you know what, I want to give you a different model number. So you put in that model number, do a search, and sure enough, it's a different claim number, and we found that model number. The same logic would apply with serial number. Let's say we want to find that serial number. Again, you always have to have a primary. We gave it a secondary. Now, just so you know, you can mix and match all of these to get to the right criteria of searching you're looking for, but for our demo we're just going to keep it super simple so we can just learn how the logic works. Now again, I can say let's change up the serial, hit search, and sure enough I found the serial number. We can do it by product. The customer can say, hey, have you guys ever worked on a bed? And we haven't, so you can go back to an AC. And sure enough, we can go ahead and find that we've been working on ACs. And the same would be for brands as well. I'm going to go ahead and say that the customer said, yeah, see if you've ever worked on a GE. And lo and behold, we have worked on a GE. Now again, we could notice that, see this address, and we're going to say it doesn't match with Clay, so watch what happens. So we're going to say the address needs to match and the brand needs to be GE, hit search, and sure enough it doesn't match. So you can mix and match these search criterias. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to uncheck exact match. Now you'll notice it is going to the last name. I'm going to uncheck all of these because if we're not sure, we just have a partial spelling of a last name, we uncheck exact match, we hit search, and lo and behold, we found Wilbert with a Lee at the end because we unchecked exact match. Go ahead, do it with exact match, and it removes Wilbert. That same logic would apply for phone numbers as well. I'm going to turn off exact match. You'll notice I have 4 claim numbers. We're just going to do a partial search, and lo and behold, for our demo, I just made it simple. You'll see that this phone number ends in 612. There is no 612 here. We unchecked exact match, and that's why this record showed up. We click back to exact match, and what we're going to go ahead and do, put the phone number back in, just get us back to a good starting point, and we can see we're right back to where we were, and that Wilbert Lee is no longer showing up in our search criteria. And then just to go over it one more time, for this demo we did everything as include all jobs, but you could have selected your criteria to include just completed jobs or incomplete jobs. For beginners, we would certainly encourage you to use the include all jobs. And then last but not least, what I'd like to show you is that I have this claim right here. I can go ahead and double click it. I'm going to double click it, and then the claim is going to go ahead and open. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And so as you can see, that claim opened. It's a rather old claim, but we can see that you simply double click from the history tab and your claim will open. And so that will conclude today's video.